All right, so I am here with my Mustang Cruise, who is a 6-year-old Southsteins gelding that I'm competing with in the My Mustang Madness competition, which gives me 5 months to train a completely wild Mustang for a big showdown competition where I will have to ride him. And so we are at about the week 7 mark with Mr. Cruise, since I picked him up as a completely wild, unhandled, never touched Mustang. So what we're kind of showing here is just some of the basic groundwork that I've been teaching him. So he was one that was really reactive, really spooky, and now just teaching him how to relax. You can see he's figuring out the trotting in hand here. I like him to just keep basically his jaw right next to my shoulder and just be nice and soft off the lead rope. When I stop my feet, I expect him to stop his feet. And then here, I'm going to send him out into just a little lunging circle. So he's getting a little confused there, and I just want him to stay nice and soft off the lead rope, sending around on this nice little circle here. And he was one who was very bracey at the beginning. Like, he would brace against the lead rope, wasn't sure what to do with the pressure. Reversing was really difficult, changing eyes for him. And you can see now that he is just nice and relaxed. He has a nice soft bend through his body. He's keeping slack in the lead rope, trotting with nice cadence all the way around. And so this is really nice to see him starting to understand this concept, him starting to relax. And then I'm just inviting him in. You can see really comfortable, really nice and chill. He's wanting to see one of the hardest things for him is me being inside his bubble and like throwing things. So I like to start throwing this lead rope kind of over him, just teaching him it's okay, things to kind of flap around, because the goal is to start riding him, tacked up. And so just by throwing this lead rope over him, I'm teaching him sort of how to relax while there's like different objects flying to that other side of his body. So I'm going to give him some pets while I'm doing it, just really encouraging him to relax, showing him that it's okay. And again, we've done this exercise a lot. We're already at week 7. And so these are all just reviewing the basics for him. So I do everything on the left side and the right side, because horses' brains don't actually connect. So things that they see on the left side of their body, they doesn't register over on the right side. And so you have to repeat the exact same exercise on the right side of the horse. And so that's something like you'll see a lot of times. You're like, wow, is my horse more spooky to the right than it is to the left? And it's because they just haven't been exposed to that side. They also can be more dominant. So just like we have dominant left eyes or a dominant right eye, depending on just who you are. Horses are the same way. And so that's why you might find that a horse does better one direction than the other, because they're just like people in that aspect. So I want to kind of do everything equally on both sides. You can see for this horse, he's a little bit more reactive to the right, doesn't quite understand things as well going that way. And so that's why I like to try and do a lot on his right side. Also, it's just habit in the horse industry to do everything from the left. If you think about it, we always tack up on the left side for the most part, hop on from the left side. There are a few, that's just kind of like what you're taught at the beginning. And so it's really important with Mustangs and domestic horses to make sure you're getting onto that right side of their body. So you can see I'm still just like throwing that rope over. I had him kind of moving around while I did it. Now I'm having him stand. I'm asking him to drop his head. And he did a really good job with that. So I'm going to go ahead and just ask him. We're kind of working on softening exercises here. So if I put pressure on his pole or on his halter, I want him to drop that head and be okay with my hand like in between his ears and rubbing on him, because that's going to help with bridling and haltering. Now I'm going to start working on those feet. So I'm just rubbing down. We're working on picking them up. He was a little bit guarded at the beginning, but now he's starting to relax and just be nice and chill. Again, we're going to work on the right side, which you'll see he'll struggle with a little bit more. And that's just because we haven't done it as much on that side. And it's a little bit more hard for him. So just got to rub down, start asking him to pick it up. He's kind of moving backwards, so I'm just sticking with him. I'm just going to keep asking and then ask him to hold it for a second, then put it down and giving him rubs. And so I'm just trying to pick it up for a few seconds, teach him to hold it, and then I'll put it down before he becomes claustrophobic. So just increasing the time I'm actually holding his foot up, and then I will choose when to give it back to him. And as we progress, I will start asking him to hold it longer and longer so that we can get ready for that trim, which he's about ready for. We're getting really close. Now, We're working on our side pass here. This is something that he actually really excels at, is side passing over obstacles. He's a very brave horse when it comes to obstacles. And so when I started teaching him how to go over different obstacles and side pass and jump different things, he had no issues about it, which it was really fun to see. It's a really cool horse. So now I'm just getting my leader up tied up, because today I only had a few minutes to get this video done, and so we're kind of just doing a quick overview of everything. So here I'm getting prepped to hop on him, and so just bouncing next to him. This will be like if I was going to hop on from the ground, which, spoiler alert, I do not hop on tall horses from the ground. About 14.2 is my max, and he's about 15 hands, so I will be using a block. But just getting him used to me bouncing next to him on both sides, making sure he's okay with that, because that was really hard for him in the beginning. And then I like to use this mounting block because it gives me just a few, or this jump block, because it gives me a few extra inches. And so then I am actually able to belly up on him from there. But guys, there is no way I'm hopping on this guy from the ground unless I get some serious springs. I am not the most agile person in the world. I'm a bit clumsy. So now I'm on him. He kind of wanted to walk off, so I just kind of turned him and then got him to stand still and then hop off. And we're going to do that again, because I want him, when I hop on, to stand still. So we're creating that habit of, like, when you hop on, he doesn't need to start moving. He needs to learn patience. So when I hop on him, I want him to just stand there, be nice and relaxed, and then we'll start moving around when I'm ready. But starting this habit right off from the beginning is really important for these young horses. So I'm going to hop on again. And this time he didn't walk off, which was really nice. So I like to move around because I want him to know I'm up there. I don't want to be like the sneaky person and then he freaks out because someone's on his back. I'm going to start moving around, moving my legs, rubbing his mane, his rump, just to let him know that I'm up there. And if you see, you get him okay with all these silly things at the stop. Then if I make a mistake when we're walking and I slip or something, he's already used to me like being all silly on his back. And then I just like to start having him walk around. This is probably his third bareback ride, so I've ridden him 3 or 4 times now, and so he already knows the basic concept of walking forwards and halting. And so he's doing really well here. Really nice horse. So I'm going to ask him to back up. And so kind of the first thing I like to do is we walk forwards nicely. And now I'm just going to reinforce that back up. So asking him to just take one step at a time. I loosen when he takes a step. And I loosen and pet. So just trying to get him nice and soft, because everything I want him to be confident, calm, and him to be soft to pressure. And so that's either if I squeeze him with my legs to walk on, I want him to be soft to that pressure. And if I pick up on the halter to ask him to stop or back up, I want him to be soft on that pressure. So we're going to ask for that halt again. You can see he's kind of bracing, so I'm just holding until he gives. So I'm going to hold. He wants to walk forwards. I'm just going to keep holding, and then he took a step there. So I loosen slightly. Then I'm going to ask again. Wait for that step of backup. I'm holding, and I don't release till he takes a step. So there, he took a step, and I praised him, told him he was a very good boy. And then we're asking for a few more steps. And you can see those were much more free, much more soft. And so he got lots of praise. And now we're going to walk on again. And so right now it's just little asks. So I'm just going to ask him to back up. And when he gives me some nice soft steps, then we walk forwards. We're going to keep practicing it. And here I chose a different spot instead of that same corner. And he stopped really nice. And I'm going to ask for a few more steps of backup. So much softer. So big pets, big praise, letting him know that that was the exact answer I wanted. And then we're going to cruise around again. And you can see the whole time I'm kind of like petting on him. I like to add in lots of stops at the beginning just so that he can understand it, because I really appreciate breaks. And so we just want to make sure that he knows when I apply pressure to that halter that he needs to stop his feet and be nice and soft. So now we're going to start moving into our trot. This is our second time trotting, I believe. And so like the first time I was just asking for him to take a few steps, and then we install that halt again and I move around, let him know that he was such a good boy. And then I'll have him start walking forwards again, and we're going to start increasing how much trotting I want him to do. So right there, he picked up a few steps. Now I'm going to ask him to keep going, and he's like, where do I get a break? And so we're just going to keep encouraging. I was just squeezing, asking him to trot on. Really good boy. And then we're going to add in that halt again. He kind of likes to spin his hips, which at this point is totally fine. So I just rub on him. Then we're going to add in a backup here. You can see he braced a little bit and then got nice and soft. So I really just want to, like, anytime that he's stiff, I'm going to hold the pressure. And then whenever he softens, I loosen up and I be super soft, letting him know that that was the correct answer. Reward the right things, discourage the wrong things. And then we're going to continue asking for that trot. So I'm going to keep asking him to kind of trot more and more. You can see we're making him kind of move his feet just a bit more. Instead of always just doing a couple strides and then stopping, I want him to start kind of cruising around. You can see he looks like a little broke pony here. Like, such a nice horse. So cadenced. Gave me the cutest little trot. Not at all concerned, which I love it when it goes that way. I always appreciate it when they just give me nice relaxed trots. And so now we're heading around the other way to the right. And you can see I kind of like am always sort of moving a little bit. So rubbing their neck, letting them know that they're doing the right thing. I want to give them as much confidence as I can. And I'm also thinking about keeping my body nice and relaxed. So when you're first doing these like first couple rides, it's like, at least was my tendency when I was first getting started, was I was super nervous. My heart was beating super fast and I would be super tense. But that was not helping the young horses. And so I've had to learn how to like control my emotions and start like making sure that my body's relaxed, that I'm breathing, that I'm not holding on to any fear, and that I'm really just trying to be the best partner or support leader for my horse so that he can gain confidence from me, and that so he'll trust me as his leader, that I'm going to take care of him. And I'm not going to put him in any scary situations that I don't think he can handle. And so just making sure that my body's relaxed, that I'm petting him, that I'm not like being too tense, and that we're just giving him a really good experience these first couple of rides. And you can see he's just doing fabulous. So getting the trot a little bit this way. Again, the right is a little bit harder for him. So I just like asked for that trot. He gave me 2 strides and then I let him stop and I gave him pets, telling him that that was the exact thing I wanted. And so now you can kind of see we're just going to ask him to pick up a little bit more. And we're just asking for a few steps here and there. He can break through the walk. I'd rather him want to stop than him like get too fast or freak himself out. As long as he's trying and being nice and calm, that's all I can ask for. And so we're just going to start slowly picking up a little bit more trot. And this was the first time that he's really trotted this direction, and he's doing fabulous. Really good boy. So just asking for little trots here and there. I'm going to encourage. Such a good boy. Really good. And also this ride was a bit shorter, and that was because I actually have a Zoom meeting for another Mustang makeover that was starting in like 5 minutes. So this ride had to be super quick. Also notice I hopped off on the right side, and that's just to kind of help get him used to me coming off on that side, which is really hard for him. The right side's a little bit more difficult, and so I like to kind of mix that up at the beginning. But really short ride. Couldn't have asked for a better ride. And now I've got to run off because we have a very exciting new horse that will be joining the farm in just a couple days. So stay tuned because lots of adventures are happening.